Hi everyone and welcome along to this video. My name is Eva and I am a knitter, a stitcher, a maker and merchant, and I'm here to tell you about everything that I've been knitting and sewing in June 2024. So hi, how are you? It's nice to see you. I should say, because I always forget, that I'm coming to you from Somerset in the southwest of England, and I'm going to tell you what I'm wearing because I always forget. This is a ruby dress, which is a pattern from Made by Ray. It's a sleeveless top, tunic or dress, but there's a blog post for another one of her patterns called the Trillium dress that's got a free sleeve piece, so I add on sleeves. You can't see, but it's just above the knee, and I've made it out of a really beautiful art gallery fabric rayon, which I got on sale a couple of years ago, and it's buttery soft and lovely. So I don't feel like I've got a great deal to show for myself this month. It's been a very busy month, but a lot of it was launching or relaunching my online shop where I sell project bags and notions pouches, and thank you so much for watching my launch video, having a look at the shop, buying things from the shop. It was really lovely and a great feeling to know that some of the things sold. There's still about 4 things left, which I'll keep in there, and I will update it soon as well. I do have some fabrics to show you for my next lot of project bags, but I'll save that till the end, and I'll start with a nice quick easy win, which is my little pair of shorty socks that I was knitting last month. So I have finished them. They are made from a 50-gram ball of Knit Picks Felici in the sour candy colourway. Because I find with self-striping it's a bit hard to use the scraps up, so I did pattern match them, so I wound off a couple of colours to get the pattern the same. I used a yarn I dyed myself for the toes, and that's a Stellina yarn, and Knit Picks Felici is 75% merino nylon, 75-25 merino nylon, and I was going to use the yellow for the heels as well, and I did have enough. I think I've got 11 grams left, but then I realised because you've got this stripe of 2 almost identical colours, I could probably get most of the heel out of the blue, and it just so happened that the next colour was the blue, and I'd finished up here because I did afterthought heels, and it was all blue except for the last row and the Kitchener stitch, which I don't mind at all. I did 3 rows of stockinette after the heel placement, and then I told you I was going to do 12 rows of cuff, 2x2 cuff, and I don't know why on the first one I thought I'll do 13, and I just ran out of the purple about 3 stitches before the end of the cast off, so I wish I'd stuck to the plan of doing 12, but it doesn't really matter. They're just a sports casual pair of socks, so that's a nice little pair of trainer socks. And the good news is I did find 1 trainer sock that was missing from my pair of trainer socks, so I now have 2 pairs of trainer socks. So I think that's all I can tell you about those. I always knit on 2.25mm needles. I do double pointed needles because I started toe up with Judy's Magic Cast On, and then I switched to 9-inch circulars when I moved to work in the round, and I do the heels in double pointed needles as well. So happy with those, which is a good job because there's a bit of a tale of woe coming up next for my next knitted item. So this is the Boardwalk tee. It's all finished. I absolutely love the colours. This is a t-shirt pattern by Amy Apple of Poison Girls, and I knit it from sock yarn, again 75-25 merino nylon, in yarns that I dyed myself. I've got this kind of mottled pink colour and a scarlet for the contrast colour. I proudly told my patrons the other day that I had finished it and I would talk all about it in the podcast, and I had given it a preliminary try on then, and I was really happy with it. It was slightly shorter than I would have wanted, but I was about to block it, and there was just one tiny problem. These are just sort of grown on sleeves with a tiny little bit of ribbing, just a few rows there, which you pick up at the end. Now, I had followed the medium size for this pattern the whole way along, and knowing what I'm like, I'd taken my little highlighter and I'd highlighted all the numbers for medium so that I didn't get mixed up. And then I did have a little bit of procrastinating with this project because I needed to go down a size for the needles, and because I'm knitting it on smaller than recommended to get gauge, I think the recommended is 3.5 and I was knitting on 3.25, which meant that for the ribbing should be 2.75, but I needed 2.5, and I didn't have a needle that was 2.5 millimeters with a long enough cable, so I procrastinated for a good week or more because I didn't want to buy such a random thing. In the end, I did buy some. I don't think I have them here. Let's check. I bought some. They were a real false economy because they're a bit rubbish, and I'll probably have to buy. No, I don't have any, so I'll put a little bit of footage in of them. I'll probably have to buy some more if I want to knit this again, which I think I do. So maybe it was that kind of break where you sort of get out of the rhythm of doing something, because what happened was I finished my ribbing on 2.5, I went to pick up for my armholes, flipped over the page and picked up the number of stitches for the large size. Did I struggle to pick up that many stitches from this circumference? Yes, I did. Did any alarm bells go off in my head that maybe that was a sign something wasn't quite right? Not at all. So I picked up, knit the rib, cast off. I did a sewn bind off for the hem and the armholes. Very happy with it. When I tried it on, the only problem was there was sort of a slight ripple in the fabric on one of the back shoulders. And rather than unpick everything and have to go back all again, I thought that will block out. I'll just block that. So I washed it, I blocked it. It was a lovely sunny day. It dried really quickly, and I just sort of pinned it out like that, and I stretched it a bit. It dried. I tried it on. I was really happy with the length now, but I don't really have any words for this, so I'm going to pause the video and try it on. I would recommend that if you are carrying a tray of hot drinks, I would set them down. If you're operating heavy machinery, I'd just take a break for a minute, and I'll put this on and show you what's happened. I'm raging. Like, what have I done? How have I ruined a really lovely little tea? I'm so sad. I'll show you. Hang on, let's just sort myself out. I'll show you the nice parts of it. I really love it. I was worried about how all this waist shaping would look because, you know, I'm not a wasp waist 1950s lady. I'm a 50-year-old menopausal lady, but I'm really happy with like the shape of it. I feel really fine in it. I think it will go lovely under pinafore dresses and stuff, which was my plan. But what have I done? That was before blocking. That was just sat nicely like that. So any advice, thoughts, prayers would be greatly appreciated. I think, and I don't even know if this will work, I think my only course of action is to unpick all of the ribbing, which will be really difficult because I've woven in the 10,000 ends from all of these stripes, because before you join in the round you don't carry the yarn. Once you join under the arms, you carry the yarn. So I don't even know if I'm going to have too tricky a time of it, unpicking it all and pick up less stitches. I think I'll put the number on the screen because I don't think I've checked yet of the difference between picking up for the medium and picking up for the large, but I think, you know, it would take a good inch out of the circumference. And I don't know, once you've stretched something and blocked it like that, can you unstretch it? I've never been in this situation before, so raging. So yeah, I really had hoped that I could show you the boardwalk, because I'm sure I've shown it on the last 2 podcasts and I'm fed up of it. I hope you're not. I feel like we need to spend less time together, this t-shirt and I, but I was really hoping that it could have just been nicely finished and worn, and that would be that. So yeah, any advice greatly appreciated, and if I can salvage it, I'll let you know and show you next time. It's a change of venue today because my partner is at home and I just can't talk to the camera if I think somebody can hear me. I just can't. So I'm in the sunroom and it's already very hot. So I'll probably get redder and redder as this video goes on. And that really is it for my knitting, because as I say, a lot of my time was taken up with making videos and different things. So I've got some yarn to show you. Do you remember when I knit a sample sock for lovely Helen at Giddy Yarns? Well, it's the happiest thing when you knit Helen a sample, because, and these are words that put joy into any knitter's heart, you get paid in yarn. So whatever quantity you knit with, you get a voucher for Helen's shop. So I spent my voucher and I added a little bit extra on as well, just to, you know, pay back a little bit. And because I think being paid in yarn is just phenomenal. So I bought this beautiful sock set. It's called Fever Dream and it's a 100 gram and a 20 gram. And it's standard sock yarn, 75-25, superwash merino nylon, 425 metres or 464 yards per 100 grams. And it's the colours I'm always drawn to, pinks and peaches. So isn't that beautiful? There was another colourway where you could get it with a bubblegum pink mini, which I really wanted, but it was sold out. But this one's come and I think it's really beautiful. So I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do with it, but I could see it being a really lovely shawl if there was one that was for 100 grams and then a 20 gram border. So I'll have to have a look and see what patterns are available to do that. My first thought is the Spindrift shawl, but that isn't written specifically for this combination, so I'd have to maybe even do a bit of maths to use up the yarn appropriately, but I do think it would be a nice shawl. And then I also threw into the basket, because it was only £11, this lovely set of minis. These are spares from the Fantasy Book Club, the September edition, and it's Elves Minis. Same composition and a lovely collection of peachy browns. I think that would make a lovely pair of autumnal socks. Maybe do something a bit fancy with striping and maybe add in like a coffee coloured yarn or something. I think that would be really nice. Or even a cream, I don't know. I think maybe darker would be nice. But I also can imagine this. But I would have to knit 5 frogs to make this happen. But imagine if you had 5 little frogs and each one had a different autumnal jumper or pair of overalls on. I think that would be cute too. So maybe I could do it where I don't use the whole 10 grams, because did I say this is a set of 5 10 gram minis? So I could still knit the jumpers and still have I don't know, 5 or 6 grams of each left to make some socks. But that was a very lovely parcel to receive. I did receive some birthday stuff, but I'll show you those things as I'm making with them, I think. And that's about everything for knitting news. I have got something behind me that I made in dressmaking news, and this is the Studio Tunic by So Liberated. So the way this pattern is styled, it's sort of a utilitarian, like an artist's overall or a maker's apron, and I have changed that a little bit by making it in this floral fabric. This is a fabric from another of my favourite designers, Heather Bailey, who does really lovely florals. I think there's some tiny bees in here as well. I think I went for the size 14, and having worn it for a week or so, I would say that I could size down. I will put some footage in here of me wearing it. It is supposed to be oversized because it's an overall rather than a dress, but I do think maybe it's a little bit big around the shoulders, so I think I'd go for the 12 next time. I think the 14 does correspond to my measurements on paper, but I guess it just depends how much ease you want. It's got these absolutely giant pockets, and there's an internal pocket here, and you can sew a little line down to put a pencil in, but I sewed my line down the middle so that I could fit Coco and Flora inside. And I think I have worn it a couple of times when I've been baking, and I think I might actually have this as my kitchen apron because it really does a really good job of covering my outfit and protecting me from all the flour that I get everywhere because I'm a chaotic cook. And yeah, I do really like it, and I'd like to make it again. It's got some lovely features like this little hanging tab and a pleat there at the back. It does come with facings as pattern pieces, but I chose to use bias binding, which I made myself from some Amy Butler fabric. This is all quilting cotton, and I think that when you do it with the facings, it's quite nice because you top stitch around the bottom of the facing quite far away from the neck hole, and that gives a nice look to if you were doing it in like a nice plain linen or something like that. I think I would quite like to make a plain one because I would wear it just as a fashion item like over jeans or something, but I do think it would need to be the smaller size for that. So it was nice to do a dressmaking project. I really do want to devote more time to it because I keep buying fabric and I keep not making things as fast as I'm buying fabric, so I really need to get a few things done. And whilst it's summertime, I think that would be a really nice time to make a few nice dresses and jumpsuits and things like that. So I'm afraid that's all I've got to show for myself for my personal makes this month. So now on to the silly section of the podcast where I will talk about my little business Coco and Flora. And I first of all wanted to say thank you so much for the support you showed me for relaunching my shop. I opened it on my 50th birthday and I had a flurry of sales, and it was like a relief and just a pleasure and just really lovely, and I felt very supported, so thank you so much. Flora wanted to say thank you as well for all the praise you gave her for her hard work in opening her own department store, and Coco obviously was there to help too. They've been working really hard packing the orders up, and they've been a great help. They are a little bit unmanageable as a crew. They tend to turn up when they want, do what they want, but interestingly they're actually really competitive with each other, and they came to me with the idea that they wanted to have an Employee of the Month competition every month, and it's been really motivating and it's helped me manage the unmanageable quite a lot. So what I suggested was that we got books of stickers, and every time they packed an order they could put one of their own stickers on as to who packed the order. Then I can count up at the end of the month how many stickers have been used by each frog, and they can win a prize. I think they're going to tell me what the prizes are. You can see Kyle there. He doesn't pop in often, but when he does, he helps with orders. So if you ever receive a packed by Kyle, just know that that's the rarest one of all, and he's not in line to win Employee of the Month, let's just put it that way. But yeah, Coco and Flora, thank you very much for your support, and they hope to see you again soon. I haven't got any immediate plans to put more in the shop because I want to just do it slowly, because, you know, my audience, my customer base is small at this point because I've had so many years off, so I'm trying not to get overexcited and do too much. But I just wanted to show you some more fabrics from this range for Heather Bailey, because I bought a few fat quarters and things of different colourways. I think the fabric range is called Local Honey. So the next project bags that I make, I think, are going to be of this. I've got this big dark green chintzy one. I've got more of the green one, and those lovely bees feature in a bigger print. And there's also a purple colourway or a magenta colourway, and a lovely yellow floral. So I think that's what I will be working with next time, and I will let you know when the shop is updated, just in case you're interested. If you do want to keep up, I would recommend joining my free Patreon level. That's basically just like joining an email list, because if I post on there like a blog post to say I've updated the shop or whatever, you will get notified by email. I usually just write a short blog every month, so you won't get inundated with emails. It would just be the blog and any shop news. But as I say, I'm keeping it fairly low-key to start off with, and I think that's everything. So thank you so much for joining me this month. Stick around if you would like to see some rare footage of June, and I'll catch up with you again in a month, and I wish you a lovely time with whatever you're making until then. Bye for now. One more PS before I go. I'm very interested to know, if you feel like commenting below, what is your optimal length for a maker's video? Do you like I've been trying to keep this to like half an hour or less, but myself, I'm really happy when my subscriptions pop up and they're like 40 minutes plus. So just out of interest really, is there an optimum length of video that you prefer to watch? Do you like the short and sweet ones, or do you like the epic hour-long versions? I couldn't have filled an hour today with what I've made, but I'm just interested to know if you feel like leaving a comment below.